Mushtaq spent years stamping stacks of counterfeit currency and conducting internal investigations for a militant cell, while funneling intelligence directly to the Indian Army. His career as a double agent began in the political vacuum swallowing Kashmir in late 1989. The disputed local elections in 1987 completely shattered belief in the democratic process. Reports of jailed candidates and manipulated ballots sparked the civil unrest that recruiters were waiting for. Across a border, ISI recognized this domestic crisis as a chance to secure low-cost foot soldiers. The 1990 insurgency was a manufactured geopolitical industry built on the back of that local frustration. Mushtaq was a college student who hiked across the border for reasons that had nothing to do with religion. He saw guys with pistols getting respect from local girls and wanted that status for himself. Recruiters sold an angst-driven marketing package to teenagers like him, a free AK-47 and instant authority, in exchange for crossing the line. After a brutal trek through the mountains, recruits arrived in Muzaffarabad. This city served as the primary processing hub for everyone entering the pipeline. Mushtaq became entry-level, disposable labor in a proxy war he was only beginning to understand. Disillusionment set in quickly. Commanders in the camps routinely stole the meager stipends meant for the recruits' food and basic supplies. The syndicate even ran a propaganda department. They forced Mushtaq into a staged refugee camp built to mislead visiting U.S. Congressman Stephen Solars. In Afghanistan, handlers stripped the man of their Kashmiri identities, banning their native language, to ensure the state sponsors could deny any involvement if things went wrong. Mushtaq watched uneducated fighters on the front lines shout at incoming artillery shells, welcoming the impact in hopes of reaching the afterlife. The system relied on stripping away a recruit's identity. Isolated and traumatized, these men were easier to control. Returning to Kashmir in 1990 meant entering a paranoid landscape. Mushtaq's family feared his presence would draw fire to their home, leaving him no choice but to retreat to the forests. The turning point came when his own organization murdered his uncle for protecting local minorities. Mushtaq had to publicly endorse the killing just to keep his cover. He reached out to Indian intelligence with a proposition. He would map the network from the inside if they could guarantee him a way out. He rose to sector commander, a rank that gave him control over the counterfeit currency flooding in from Peshawar. His tradecraft was primitive. He used urine as invisible ink to write coordinates of militant camps and signaled handlers with flashlight pulses. He protected his position by flagging anyone who suspected him as an Indian agent. Army handlers would then neutralize the threat. Mushtaq exploited the syndicate's rigid hierarchy and internal fear to systematically break the network apart. Stamping counterfeit cash and buying rifles required a continuous supply chain of capital. This diagram illustrates zakat, the mandatory wealth tax in Islam meant for hospitals, the poor, and social welfare. Terror syndicates divert this charitable revenue stream. Billions of dollars are siphoned away from welfare and into weapons and proxy warfare. Rogue embassies and fake NGOs provide the paperwork needed to legitimize these transfers across international borders. Proxy conflicts are sustained by capital. As long as this funding pipeline remains active, the system can always buy more recruits. Financing this conflict created immense wealth for the men at the top, while the teenagers they recruited were treated as disposable inventory. The system breaks when recruits like Mushtaq survive the trauma and expose the financial grift behind the cause. The Indian military took a chance on him. The former militant spent the next 30 years as a decorated soldier in the regular army. Proxy wars are business ventures funded by the blood of those who don't see the ledger. Ending them starts with auditing the money.